What's good, y'all? Elite live streams. We back. How you guys doing out there? Welcome to all of the new subscribers. Appreciate you all for pulling up. It's been amazing, man. We're having a great day. It's beautiful outside. We in Cali, so the weather's a little bit cooler these days. It's been raining for like the last couple weeks, so we're vibing with that. We got that winter vibe going on right now in LA, and I'm digging it, man. You know what I'm saying? It feels good. Glad to be here. Thank you all for showing love. The last live stream, after the fact is doing views, a lot of commentary. Appreciate everyone who's subscribed from that video, and big up to everybody who is subscribed currently, man. We back. And we here, man. We here to do it. We here to talk about a very funny topic. I am very excited to talk about this topic because we're going to be talking about a despicable human being who, in my opinion, his karma could not come soon enough. There's still work to be done, but reportedly, all right, George Zimmerman is homeless, unemployed, and is currently finding it challenging to achieve peace in his life. Okay. How crazy is this story, right? Like George Zimmerman, the nerve, right? Of any of this propaganda, even being out here on the internet, is absolutely insane. I find it quite hilarious. You know what I mean? Just the fact that there's even a lane for him to gain sympathy for anything in life. And so I'm very, very dead set on talking about this story because, in my opinion, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of propaganda out there, enough of people who have a lot to say, right? That doesn't necessarily even, add up, right? Some of it's not even true. So I felt the need to keep the same energy. And I could care less if this story is true. I could care less if anybody cares about fact checking. And I looked it up, and it's kind of quiet because guess what? This is a very good social experiment to look at and say, wow, it's so funny how the media can be quiet, especially about these follow-up stories that they do periodically to all these other people. And yet they used George Zimmerman in his story, right? All the press that had came out about it. And now it's very quiet about this story. It's very interesting that the media has nothing to say about this particular story. So I felt it was important to use my platform at Elite Media to make sure that we're going to smash the gas on George Zimmerman, because I could care less about his feelings, and I could care less about him reportedly having and finding it challenging to find peace in his life. Everything that happens to him is totally deserved. Okay. So for me to even see a story that has any inkling of looking for sympathy for this savage, I'm going to come on here and cook him every single time. If you thought that we weren't going to keep the same energy, you're crazy. Okay. So look, what we're going to do is start with a story from 2022, you guys. All right. This one, I feel like is necessary because boom, right? Let's talk about it, right? The headline reads as follows, right? George Zimmerman's life checkered with domestic disputes, lawsuits, controversies in 10 years since Trayvon Martin's unaliving. All right. And this story, okay, is from February 25th, 2022. All right. So we're going to read it because we like to read over here at Elite Media so that we can make sure that we accurately speak on the despicable things that George Zimmerman has still been accused of and been involved in, even after his alleged you feel me, incident with the young Trayvon Martin. All right. So in the 10 years since George Zimmerman unalived Trayvon Martin, he has remained embroiled in controversy, right? 2 months after July 2013, acquittal of Zimmerman's wife, Shelley, who filed for divorce, she called 911 to report Zimmerman had assaulted her father and had threatened her with a pow pow. This is the individual we're talking about here, guys. All right. This is the individual that we are talking about. This is the individual who they try to prop up and say that young Trayvon Martin was the problem. A young man walking to the store to get a snack is followed by a weird, random dude, okay? Gets into an altercation with said dude, and then here we go, right? So we continue. The 911 call says he just threatened all of us with a firearm and he is going to pow pow us. Zimmerman was not arrested after the police said they couldn't find enough evidence to press charges. Now, listen here. Isn't it ironic? Isn't there a pattern that we all start to see here? Right? The police collusion, right? This is what we always talk about when people speak about police brutality in America against Black Americans. Okay? This is what we talk about when we say that there's illicit behavior by those people that needs to be checked. The police do not back it up in respect to what? The white power structure. Okay? If it's a Black American, right, who has the police called on him, they are there in 2.5 seconds. Okay? But if it's in the flip side of things, they're going to come into it very carefully. They're going to be very particular about how they go about the scenario, right? They may not even arrest them, just like they just spoke about right here, right? Hilarious. All right. So 2 months later, Zimmerman was arrested in another dispute, domestic, after his girlfriend Samantha said he pointed a pow pow at her. You just broke my glass table, broke my sunglasses, and you put your pow pow in my freaking face and told me to get the heck out, she's heard saying on a 911 audio. This is the person that we're dealing with. This is the person who the white power structure tried to prop up as the victim, right? He was propped up as the victim in the altercation with Trayvon and him. And even in this scenario where he is literally being called to the police 2 times an account, right? By 2 different relationships that he's in, and no police presence or any oversight at all. And this is what we talk about as Black Americans when it comes to our relationship with police, right? There are situations that a lot of these other people can get away with, and yet if it's Black Americans, it's a wrap. You're on our ass, all right? So look, Charles later recanted her story and the case against Zimmerman was dropped. Can you guys believe that? I can believe it. All right. In late 2013, Zimmerman started selling his own artwork. One painting of an American flag sold for $100,000, but was criticized for being a ripoff of a Shutterstock photo. I mean, duh. This is who we're dealing with. George Zimmerman here, a crook. All right, a guy who has no morals, who follows children in neighborhoods for no reason at all. All right. A second painting of a prosecutor, Angela Corey, ran into legal trouble because the Associated Press said it imitated a copyrighted photo. All right. So look, this guy's making money, okay, off of selling artwork. Where's the money? Where's the money, George? If you're broke right now, and this was in 2013. All right. So look, in early 2015, Zimmerman was again charged with domestic assault after allegedly throwing a wine bottle at a girlfriend. Once again, no charges were filed because the alleged victim recanted her story. Do you guys see a pattern here? Do you see what's happening here? And I always try to make it clear, on Elite Media, we're going to bring the receipts. And it is important in any case or debate that you build the character. And the character, if we're just going off of this article, okay, this article that was written in 2022 by Amanda Dukes, okay, at WESH number 2 NBC. All right. This is her, Sanford, Florida. All right. Her recounting the story. You can already see the character of someone who has a problem with violence, who has a problem with women, who has a problem with children. This is who we're talking about when we're talking about George Zimmerman. All right. This is who we're talking about. You guys want to talk crazy? No, we're going to build the character based on the facts. All right. So what did he do? He attacked one of he attacked his ex-wife, then the girlfriend after that, and another girlfriend after that. All right. In the first 3 years following his trial, in addition to the dramas in his personal life, George Zimmerman was under investigation by the Department of Justice to determine if he violated Trayvon Martin's civil rights, which he did. But in 2015, the federal agency said the evidence did not meet the high standard for the federal hate crime. Now, listen to me when I tell you guys that when we speak about a Black police brutality bill, this is what we talk about when there are so many loopholes for these police to not be held accountable, or let's say the stand your ground rule here, because George Zimmerman is not a police officer, but this applies. He hunted down a teenager who was walking home in his own neighborhood, right? But then in the same token, he cannot be prosecuted by that because the bill says that it is not high enough standards, meaning there's a loophole for the people to get off and be able to unalive Black Americans. And that's why there were a lot of Black Americans speaking about police brutality bills that need to be changed, anti-Black hate crime bills. We need that. That's something that we need. And we're not just going to be out here playing games when we can go back. That's why I say on Elite Media, we bring receipts. Everything that I do here is based in facts and me taking the time to read and go through it step by step with all of you who join me. So what? So then if we can go back and reference this video and live stream, we can look at it and say, you know what? This is based on what? This article from 2022. Not my words, the words of this person, Amanda Duke from NBC2 WESH. Okay. So let's continue. All right. Let's keep going. Right. All right. So they said he was already being, attacked by the federal agencies. Right. In 2015, Zimmerman would make headlines again when Matthew Apperson fired a gunshot at him during a road rage incident. All right. This, like I said, is a pattern. We are seeing a pattern here, guys. A pattern of what? Someone who is violent, someone who cannot control themselves, and someone who has a straight up obsession with firearms. Okay. And we are continuing to see what? A pattern of this. All right. So look, during Apperson's trial, Zimmerman was asked about the BLM movement, and his response sparked controversy. It said, "I don't believe Black Lives Matter is a movement, sir. They are terrorist cowards." Okay? These are the words of George Zimmerman, okay? The unaliver and weirdo who follows children in neighborhoods and unalives them for no reason. Okay, this is who we're talking about here. Okay, Pearson was convicted of attempted second-degree M-word, but recently bonded out after being granted a new trial. Guys, when I speak about the anti-Black crime bills that need to be put in place, this is why, because people get actually convicted who are the ones who have to deal with this maniac, George Zimmerman. Okay? There is documented evidence here that we're going through that speaks to someone who lacks control, guys, who cannot control themselves, someone who has a low moral compass and literally goes out of his way to try to bully people with firearms, okay? So look, we will continue. In May 2016, Zimmerman sparked fury when he listed the gun he used to pow Trayvon Martin at an auction website. It eventually sold for close to $140,000, guys. Like I said, when we do any research or when we try to actually bring a debate, you must bring the facts. You must build the character. And who is this character? Who are we talking about? Who are we debating about? We are talking about a man who has no control of himself, has no backbone, and literally sold the gun that he did something very, very heinous to at an auction, and someone bought it. Okay? And let's keep going with that. This is why I always talk about the covert white supremacy that people live underneath every single day. The faceless white supremacist who can be around here making purchases like this, have it in their home, and be able to talk to their friends, co-workers, and neighborhood buddies about the pow that I have in my door that, hey, look, this is actually the gun that George Zimmerman used. This is the sick mind of a white supremacist, guys. The sick mind of somebody who would spend that much money, $140,000 estimated. Because look, I did some research on that, and other reports are saying it was closer to $250,000. Right? This is what we're talking about. This is the type of people that we're dealing with. Yes, it is. And that's why it was important for me to be able to bring this up so that we can have no doubt about who we're dealing with here. Okay? And that's who we're dealing with. We're dealing with George Zimmerman, y'all. Okay? We're dealing with George Zimmerman, y'all. All right? So let's continue. Okay? Let's continue. In May 2018, Zimmerman faced more criminal charges. He was accused of stalking a private investigator who was helping with the documentary on the shooting of Trayvon Martin. Guys, I need to know, anyone who is here in the chat, let me know what type of character this looks like. We're going down the list. A character who has been accused and convicted of domestic violence with his partners. A person who got into an altercation and shooting in a road rage altercation. A person who is now being accused of stalking an actual private investigator who was doing something for the documentary on the unaliving of Trayvon Martin. the sick mind of this person. And like I said, it is insane to me that there is even a story that would be out here talking about that George Zimmerman deserves any sympathy. That's why we're starting here, because we're making sure that we build the character, right? That's what we do here at Elite Media. Nothing but receipts. And then we go ahead and then we get into the meat of the actual factuals, right? So let's keep going. Zimmerman eventually pleaded no contest to the stalking charges and got 12 months probation. Most recently, Zimmerman turned his attention to lawsuits. In 2019, he filed a $100 million defamation lawsuit against Trayvon Martin's parents. Just this month, it was dismissed. In early 2020, Zimmerman filed a $265 million defamation suit against two presidential candidates for allegedly defaming him in tweets. A year later, a judge dismissed. It's been 10 years since George Zimmerman burst onto the national scene. While he did win his freedom after the trial for the past decade, he has clearly not lived free of controversy. This is the person who we are talking about. This is the person who they are trying to say deserves any sympathy. You get none, family. And mind you, we just ran off a straight up list. Okay? Why is it challenging for him to find peace? Brother, you did the ultimate act. You took someone away from their family, a child. You don't think that there would be anyone who's going to feel any remorse for you, bro? Are you crazy? Do you even think about what Trayvon Martin family felt like when they got the news? His father, what he felt like when he couldn't do nothing? All right? His hands is tied. He can't crash out. He better than me. He better than me, man. Ain't nothing worth living for if my child is gone. Ain't nothing worth living for, bro. It's up. It's over, bro. I'm gone. Nobody's going to find me. All right? Salute to Henry Linton Jr. All right? He down bad right now. They beating him up in jail and all that. But he crashed out when the cops killed his son. Justifiably so. So when I see people trying to play games, you trying to sue the family, bro? Please, man. All right. So here we go. Now we're going to get into the new part. All right. So Rich Boy Streeter, he put this out. You know what I'm saying? I saw it and I thought it was important that we watched, you feel me, exactly what he has to say on the subject, because it's important that people actually understand what goes on. You feel me? And it's very silly for anybody, in my opinion, to be playing games around, any of this, George Zimmerman, what he's going through, all that crap. Ain't nobody got time for that, man. Let me take this down real quick so I can make sure I got the right screen for y'all, man. Because let me tell you guys something, man. When Trayvon Martin, when all this happened, man, when everybody was out there in the streets, man, and it was crazy. Everybody was feeling some type of way. I'm telling you, man, it felt like it was us. You feel me? Especially in 2016. So when we saw him walk, when we saw the people not standing up, when we saw so many people making memes. All right, the internet was a crazy place at that time, man. There were so many memes, so many videos, so much crazy people doing crazy things when it came to this. And a lot of us weren't making content at that time. You know what I'm saying? I was in the music industry, so I was just in a whole different wavelength. And I couldn't come on here and really express myself about how that had made me feel. But I was on the streets, I was protesting, we moving around, doing what we can, trying to establish ourselves. You feel me? Working with the BLM movement in Long Beach, doing what we had to do. But at the same time, it was crazy because we felt that. Everybody felt that. And then for him to go around selling the gun, making money off this, suing people, making money off artwork, being able to go ahead and live his life. And mind you, the fact that there's so much going on in our community and nobody done none of this fool. He's just walking around here able to live life comfortably. Nah, I'm glad that he's down bad. I'm glad that he's in the scenario that he's in. I don't care, because what he did will never be forgiven. So let's hear from Rich Boy. Let me see. Hold up.
Some great news to make your day better. George Zimmerman cannot find a job nor a place to stay. And he has been OD struggling for the past 5 years. Financially, mentally, and spiritually. And also, he can't find peace anywhere he goes. People try to run the favor with him on the side everywhere he goes. So if you were having a bad day, just want to put a smile on your face with that one, all right? Bless up, y'all. Have a great day.
What a great video, right? What an amazing video. What a heartwarming video to start your year. Hold on, let me get an applause going for that. Let's do it all, man. Let's go with a full applause for this guy, because I mean, clap that shit up. All right, clap it up. Clap it up. Because guess what, man? This is what I love about what we building here at Elite Media, fam. Because everything is based in principles. And if you do things to people, if you F people over, if you out here being racist, you got a problem with yourself, you got to fix that. Because it always comes back. The tables always turn. And the fact that we've been seeing so much of what's been happening to Black Americans, it's on videos everywhere we see, they putting on the news. It's good. It feels good to feel a little bit of karma for one of them people who was integral in the fact of how this got normalized. After that, after what happened, it was never the same when Trayvon got, unalive, man. It was never the same. The media changed, the way that it looked at these altercations. Then after that, we had so many other things happen. George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery. You know what I'm saying? And after that, it was never the same. The pandemic, all that, everything changed. And so it gives me nothing but joy to see and hear this. Because guess what? He ain't the only one struggling. He wasn't the only one who had to lose his life out there. A lot of people lost their lives behind this. A lot of people have lost their lives behind police brutality and people in their neighborhood profiling them. A lot of people have been put in situations where they could not get out of, and they never received justice. Right? So many scenarios of people who have gone generation after generation of taking L's, man. Can't even walk around their neighborhood comfortably. They chased down Ahmaud Arbery, man, like a dang dog. Running him around in trucks, man. Sawed-off shotguns and all type of stuff, man. Like I said, it's never been the same since then, and it will never be the same until you guys admit to your atrocities that you've done to Black Americans. Until y'all hold that, until you guys hold the ultimate responsibility, it will never change. It will continue to get worse for y'all. And that's why we're in the state that we're in right now as a country. Everybody talking about this war and all this other crap. But guess what? We are already in the decline. Ain't no coming back. Ain't no going back to what it used to be. And that's the point. We needed to break down. We needed to all just disperse and start over. Because whatever y'all did, whatever plans y'all had, it does not work. And divine intervention is real, man. 250 years, y'all. Every empire, 250 years, y'all. And right now, what year we on? 250. Straight up. They want to play games. All right, cool, whatever. Y'all can act like, nothing means nothing. Cool, for sure. But I live in a world of symbolism and understanding. And I pay attention. I'm outside. You feel me? I'm out here. So from my perspective, I'm not going to sit back and allow, you feel me, anybody to be totally lost and you're around me. No. We about to understand what's really going on. And we're going to wake the fuck up. Because right now, regardless of what I have to say, George Zimmerman, your life reflects everything that you've done. Your life reflects everything that you've done. You living homeless, you're out on the streets, you can't go nowhere, you're living with no peace. Yeah, obviously. You get what you put out into the world, y'all. You get what you put out. All right? You're putting out negative energy. You want to align yourself. You want to play these games with people. You get what you put out. Ain't nobody got time to be tiptoeing around what's really going on. And like I said, a big component of why Black Americans speak on an anti-Black hate crime bill is because of what directly happened to Trayvon Martin out there that night. Okay? That has been a catalyst for a very long time where young Black boys are being targeted. They're not being utilized and looked at as kids. They're looked at immediately as a threat. And so within that, this dude walks him down with a pow pow and then goes out of his way to take him out and then is able to walk and live his life. No, you do not get to do that because the Most High is always in control. And whether y'all want to believe or not, that's on you. But at the end of the day, this is exactly what happens. Your life is a reflection of who you are. What you put out will come back to you. That is universal law. I don't care what religion you're in. Okay? When you go out here and you put out that energy, it comes back. All right? And George Zimmerman, all the people who supported him, everybody who thought it was funny. All right? All these people who thought it was funny what happened to Trayvon, who made all those memes and played all these games. Guess what? The chickens are coming home to roost, man. Black Americans are done with the BS. No more is there a time where it's okay for y'all to talk crazy about Black people. No more on this internet. All right? We run the internet. We are now starting to take over the internet. Have you guys noticed now that since more Black content creators are rising up, now everybody's streaming's over, man. It's done. We got to get to something else. No. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. No, it's because now those voices that you thought were small are actually growing. Their platforms are now starting to match your platforms. And y'all don't like that. It's very easy to do it when, it's just you, right? But no, now these people have figured it out. A lot of people who are coming from, people who have done music, people who have created videos, people who are editors and photographers, right? They know how to create stories. They know how to talk in front of a camera. They know how to work with quality microphones. Okay? Look, I've been doing this for real. Me and my partner Jay, we've been doing this for real the last year and a half, and this channel has grown over 500 subscribers. That's great to me, especially coming from nothing. Like we started from zero subscribers, no followers. All right. So every single subscriber that I have on here, I'm mad appreciative of because we are building it from the ground up, talking about topics that we want to talk about, not following trends, not trying to hop on nobody else's wave, not trying to create beefs with other content creators to raise our profile, literally getting it out the mud. And so when I say things like and subscribe to the channel, because it's real, like this is really what we building here on real, true facts and principles, talking real conversations, real grown-up talk. I ain't young. You feel me? I might look young, but I'm not young. I've been out here for a long time. I've done a lot. I have a very strong background. And so when I come on here and I speak the way I speak, it's from experience. It's not just from me talking out my ass. You feel me? I've done a lot. And so when I saw the George Zimmerman situation back in 2016, man, you feel me? I was just in a different place in my life. But now that I can come back and really cook on this, oh yeah, it's up, man, because George Zimmerman is a terrible human being. And I built that from the top. I brought you guys a story that they did in 2022. All right. They brought this up and said Zimmerman's life and checkered past with domestic disputes, lawsuits, and controversy 10 years since Martin's passing. All right. This was a real story based in real facts about all of the negativity that is attached to this man. Domestic violence against his ex-wife, domestic violence against his ex-girlfriend, domestic violence against his other ex-girlfriend, domestic violence and stalking against his fourth girlfriend. Okay? Then goes on to sell the firearm that he used to unalive Trayvon Martin for an estimated $250,000. And if he did make that money, I'm even more happy that he lost it all. What an idiot. You made all that money just to blow it. And y'all know where he put all that money, don't you? I can probably suffice. I could probably come up with a good idea, especially in Florida. Y'all can put the 2 and 2 together, all right? I'm not, because YouTube, all right? But if you know the game, you know the game. But anyways, to have that money and then to go back and then as well getting convicted and actually getting an actual case put on him for stalking the PI, the personal investigator who was doing the documentary for the Trayvon Martin case. He gets in trouble for that, for stalking that man. Listen, y'all, it's important that when people come on here, when they come on the internet, they speak and they talk, they have to bring receipts. You have to bring actual factuals. And that's what I always try to do here on Elite Media, man. Every single time we are bringing receipts to the actual story. It's on you. It's on you to make your own assessment about what I just brought to the table. But at the end of the day, this is what it is. This is the facts, okay? And now to hear the karma, like I said, the tables turn. He can't live with no peace. Think about Trayvon's parents. Think about the nights, the endless nights his mother had to go to sleep without her son. Think about the days and the months and the years that his father had to go without his son. Think about his siblings, what they have to go through, his family members, his friends, everyone around him, his community, the Black American community, how we felt about that young brother who got his life taken, so much life to live. And they tried to assassinate his character, try to bring up old photos of him, trying to make him look like he was something that he was not. And this is what they do. Okay. And the fact that we have to deal with this on a constant basis, y'all, it's insane. It's insane. And that's why I always talk about the Black anti-hate crime bill. Okay. We need that as Black Americans. We need that because that protects us in scenarios where we are being targeted as Black Americans just living our life. Just over here trying to be ourselves, do what we can. And y'all got a problem with that. Y'all want to follow us in our own neighborhoods. Y'all want to follow us with weapons on us. And then use that weapon and then be able to hide behind a stand my ground law because there is no witnesses. Right? This is what it is, man. It's like I said, the Black Lives Matter movement, all that was based in this time. This is where it really started popping off. Like, and people will never really give it the credit for what it is, but literally, like, this was the start of something that changed the entire trajectory of where we are today in society, and especially in America. You feel me? And how Black Americans look at everybody else after this. You feel me? It was never the same after 2016. You feel me? And so with that, you know what I mean? I'm going to conclude, but I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you all for pulling up, man. I feel like this was a great fucking stream, man. My whole thing is, I bring topics and I just let them go. And, usually it reaches the people that it needs to reach. And I appreciate that. And salute to everyone who has been subscribing, everyone who's been showing love, man. Y'all are incredible, man. The commentary and the overall growth that I'm able to see from not only myself, but from the people who are gravitating towards my content, that means a lot to me. And I want to really appreciate and thank you all for that. So make sure y'all continue to show your boy love. Hit that like button. You know what I'm saying? Show your boy some love. We trying to reach 1,000 subs, man. We're almost there. We're halfway there. So help me get there, y'all. Make sure you guys share it. You know what I mean? Let your people know. Yo, this dude B, he got a little something going on. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, appreciate you guys, man. I'm out. Peace.